Suicide Squad number 24, written by Matt Kint, art by Patrick Zurcher. So this issue and the next like 5 after it are all labeled as tie-ins to Forever Evil. And to an extent they are, but it's more so of here's just what Suicide Squad was doing during Forever Evil rather than it actually doing anything for the main book. So just know that's a thing. Anyway, last thing you need to know is that Amanda Waller is kind of stuck at Blackgate Prison because of the event of Forever Evil. And then, the entire Suicide Squad has all had their neck bombs removed in the meantime. So we pick up in Belle Reve, which is just on fire. Everything's going wrong. Amanda Waller is about to be attacked by some random guy who is apparently a shapeshifter. I don't think he even has a name. And Waller slaps a bandage to the back of his head that acts as an explosive. So she presses a button on her phone and it blows up. And so she manages to run. She hides from the prisoners inside. She makes comments on how all of the prisoners, they're free to go. They can leave, but they choose to stay here just to mess it up a little bit. And that, of course, is making it a lot harder on Waller. One other thing that you need to know is that the entire world has gone dark electronically, except for Waller. For some reason, Belle Reve is left online. So Waller makes her way into a super old tech room where she, no one else knows it's there. And she goes in and she calls Deadshot. Now, in the Villains Month, we had her already trying to get Harley and Deadshot to get their help to do something. And this is her basically coming in saying, hey, Deadshot, hope you're still going to help me. Remember, I have the girl, the one you've been looking for. And Deadshot's like, I think you're lying, but regardless, I guess I'll help you. And Waller says, all right, cool. I'm going to send you coordinates. You need to get to the Rocky Mountains. There's something there. It's a super weapon. If the crime syndicate ever gets their hands on it, everything is going to hell. So get up there. And yeah, you're going to need probably more than just Harley to do that. So he makes his way to a nearby bar. And we see a bunch of lowlifes all hanging out there who are, not wanting to get involved in the whole end of the world scenario thing going on. And apparently they're there for Captain Boomerang. And they say, hey, look, we will forget about all the times you've double-crossed us and whatnot if you help us get to the Rocky Mountains for Waller. And he's like, why in the hell would I help Waller? And he basically says, I know where she is. I'll let you get first crack at her when we need to go see her. And Boomerang's just like, hell yeah, sounds great. So I gotta admit, this part kind of is confusing me. We're in, I believe, Belle Reve still. And James Gordon Jr. is watching as a bunch of the inmates are being told / convinced to build what appears to be like a super weapon with a bunch of satellite dishes and stuff on it. And Jr. has no idea what's going on, but we see there is one man who's like, man, screw this. I'm getting out of here. I'm leaving this place. I don't want to do this. And another guy comes up and be like, oh, it's all part of the plan, though. The Thinker, he's the one in control of all this. He's got it all figured out. And the guy's like, screw Thinker. I don't want to be a part of his plan. And King Shark comes up and starts eating the guy, just straight up chewing him in half. So the other guy's like, oh, King Shark, hell, I was telling him part of the plan. And King Shark just tells him, no talk, more work. So at that point, Junior approaches this guy. His name is Hippogriff. And he's like, Hippogriff, hey, what the hell's going on? And he's like, oh, I can't talk. I got to work. And so Junior presses a secret panel on the floor that opens a secret compartment downstairs. And he basically tells him, okay, I'm put this big explosive necklace around your neck now. If you so much as blink, it will explode. Tell me everything I need to know. Who's the Thinker? And he says, oh, it's this guy. He's got some sort of powers or whatnot. Don't know what's up, but he's in this cell at the end of the row. And so Junior then stabs the guy numerous times and says, Thinker. Why do I know that name? And so he goes down and peeks in on the Thinker in his cell, where King Shark is also there, being his muscle, more or less. And he's like, oh yeah, Thinker. He's got these weird rod things coming out of his head. He's super duper smart, beyond genius level. And Waller was hoping to use him in the same way that she is using, quote unquote, me. So yeah, he's a bit of a threat. And Thinker says, yeah, no, we've got a plan. Waller is somewhere in this house. You're free to find her. Go ahead and get her whenever you want. So then we cut over to the Rocky Mountains. And already there, I can never remember this guy's names. I think it's like Mad Dog or like Wild Dog or something like that. He was in Arrow. He's snowboarding down the mountain, and we see that Waller, during the looting and whatnot, he was like shooting a bunch of looters. He was just straight up killing them. And Waller shows up and says, "Hey, I'm Amanda Waller. I'm the head of Argus. We've noticed you being a vigilante, and I need you to help me out. My original team of the Suicide Squad has betrayed me. They're making their way to the Rocky Mountains, and they're going to deliver this super weapon to the crime syndicate. You got to get there first and stop them." And as he arrives at these coordinates that are preset, he comes across Steel. And Steel, if you don't remember, way back in an Action Comics backup story, he basically hung up the cape and the suit and retired to a tiny village in Australia. Well, turns out the village blew up because of the crime syndicate. And Amanda Waller comes up and says, "Wow, that sucks. Hey, how about you join my team, Steel?" And so he does. And so they never say whether his name is Wild Dog or Mad Dog or whatever. I'm going to say Wild Dog. That sounds right to me. So Wild Dog and him talking, just being like, "Oh, do you know where we're going?" And he's like, "Nah, no idea." And then all of a sudden, out of the snow comes the unknown soldier. And he's like, "Hey, I am the leader of this team. I worked with Amanda Waller. I know where we're going." So they start walking their way up this big mountain. And Wild Dog's like, "Why should I trust you? How do we know that you're the leader?" And he's like, "I don't care if you trust me or not. We're going up to that thing." And Steel seems to be waiting on one more person, but they're not aware as to who it is. So they make their way up to this facility. They get jumped by a bunch of guards that are there. And then all of a sudden, Power Girl swings in through the roof saying, "Sorry I'm late. Let's get to the elevator." So she takes care of the goons. All the other guys make their way to the elevator. And at this point, they get out of the elevator and see Boomerang, Harley, and Deadshot collecting OMAC, saying, "Hey, Waller, we got OMAC for you. Where's our extraction?" And Waller says, "Copy, proceed to phase 2. And then Unknown Soldier calls in, says, "Waller, we see them. They've got the weapon. What should we do?" And she says, "Copy, proceed to phase 2. And so now it's the two teams pitted against each other, trying to fight over OMAC. And we cut back to the cell of the Thinker, and he says, "Yes, proceed to phase 2. And King Shark remarks, "Wait a minute, you sound just like Waller. What are you doing?" And he's like, "You can go find Waller whenever you want. She's wearing one of the explosive collars that's going to explode if she ever leaves Belle Reve." And she's screaming out like, "No, Deadshot, do you copy? Do not bring OMAC here. Repeat, do not bring OMAC." So it seems like this is all part of the plan of Thinker. I gotta admit, this one's pretty dense. This one's introducing a lot of people very quickly. I mean, I'm familiar with these people. Power Girl, Unknown Soldier, even from this book. I'm not saying that it's a lot of new people in terms of not knowing them. However, a lot of them have very different alliances now. For instance, I don't know what Steel's been up to. I don't know what Captain Boomerang's been up to. I don't know what OMAC's been up to. So we're introducing a lot there. And on top of that, the Suicide Squad doesn't seem like it's really loyal to Waller either. So I'm not sure why they're doing that as well. It's introducing a lot. But I think that it's an interesting concept here of you have someone basically playing the role of Waller and no one's able to tell the difference. And Waller's just kind of left to her own devices. I'm sure that we'll get a point where she is jumping into things and actually being able to intercede. But it's an interesting start at the very least. So I'm going to give this one I'll give it a flat 7. And I think that's only because the only reason it doesn't get a little higher than that is it stretched itself a little too thin. It didn't feel like it really focused on points it needed to. For instance, the Gordon Jr. part, I feel like that could have been completely left out for now, but they put it in, so it's getting a 7.